Hi, welcome. I'm Priscilla Batzell. This is Expressionist Fluid Art Studio Gallery's demonstrations and tutorials. Let's have some fun. These are my watercolor crayons. This one's the black one. I have nothing more in mind than making as much of a creative mess as possible. And maybe I will and maybe I won't follow the lines. Maybe it will and maybe it won't give me some ideas. It's been forever since I tried anything like this. Let's make sure my canvas turns around. Okay, so I'm all over the place and I don't care. I've got some yellow and I think it's Tuscan Sun actually. And it seems like it's somewhat closed, which means we'll take what we can get and add to it some yellow orange, which is less closed. And that's where I'll start. And I'm using my rubber brushes today. And I'm not going to try and do anything perfectly. And if it's just a base layer to fill in later, that's okay too. And if I see the marks through, that's also okay. If I smear the marks, that's okay. There are no rules right now. I'm just going to try and fill up as much of the canvas as I can with paint color. And this is good for my experimentation, my desire to experiment with my rubber brushes. I got some nice perfect indigo for potentially for next, but I think what I'm going to do is use some of my white metallic. And mix it with some of the yellow, if it'll mix. We're just going to do general shapes. And probably I'm going to appreciate those little black lines. Now I do want to utilize most of my paint. What am I going to do with this? I'm going to put it someplace else. Because paint is paint at this point. I've got some orange crush that I think is next. Remember to keep my bottles out of the way. I really don't know how this is going to work out, but I am imagining that whatever the first layer is, the colors that I add next will be complementary. And this part is supposed to be fun. And that's wiping off my brush, and I've got a sponge to do that with as well. This is my perfect indigo, I believe. Yes. I'm going to use a bigger brush. And I think I'm going to find out pretty quick I need more of that color. Anything could happen. I could use mark making tools after this. And I'm just going to sort of rely on my intuition for wherever the colors wind up and work it out as I go, figuring that if I have to, I can cover something with black, I can cover something with white, and I can add more colors to that afterwards. Try and keep my brushes clean so I can use them when I come back to them. I'm hearing the call to, not Egyptian blue, where's the, I thought I got the blue velvet out, but evidently I didn't. Which is not a big problem. And it's close enough shade so I could probably get away with adding whatever's on my brush. But I don't have to do that. I can just knock it off. At least that's my theory at the moment. If I don't like my shapes in the end, I'll just do an entirely different design on top of them. I should learn how to label, just add text, label the colors, and fast forward through everything. I think that would be great. But there are people who like to listen to me, so I'm going to indulge them for right now. Or that's my theory at the moment. Maybe if I use my small brush I can fill in. I have a small brush. Ah! The very small brush standing by. Anything I don't have to go over is not a bad thing. And I'm trying to learn to enjoy the mark making. And I do like mixing colors, so the fact that there was some blue on that brush does not bother me a bit. Or the fact that I'm going to put some purple back into the blue. That just makes it more interesting for me. I think it's time to liven things up with a little dancing fuchsia. In a moment anyway. Right after I wipe this brush off. Where do I want to put my blue? That looks like a good enough place for it. I also have those Sharpie paint markers that I could go for in the end. You know what I've got more than I've got Dancing Fuchsia? I've got Jasmine. And I can always add Dancing Fuchsia on top. That was way more than the space was going to accommodate. But that doesn't matter. Because if I want to leave it heavy, I've got GAC 800 in my paint mixtures. That makes me want pink carnation even before I do anything with the Dancing Fuchsia, which is still on my mind. I'd like to say, you know, maybe this will be horrible, but I will find a way to make it work. Whatever it takes. Even if it's going through with one of my toothy tools and striping through, adding layers of paint on top afterwards. I want some of my tangerine, which I'm running out of, and I'm going to have to mix some more. There is no exactness to this process. I am going to use the jasmine that's left over on the brush. Oh, got a big black mark. That's kind of cool. Surprise! That makes me want saffron. I need a place to put that down. And my hand went naturally to another color. Let's just use the rest of that right here. And maybe we will, and maybe we won't see the residual lines from the original crayon. That's red violet. Which is usually pretty sheer, which means it will probably have some color added to it. Most likely me experimenting. Alright, I've got more purple. Can go right there. And I think right there also. Somehow I'm going to figure out how much paint to use when I squeeze it out. Now I'm hearing the call to frozen. And I like the idea of squeegeeing off some colors. I also like to utilize whatever's on one brush by removing it with another. Alright, let's keep going. Keep remembering to wipe off my tools. I'm waiting for some moment when it looks like something. Now I can go right over those marks and fill in with another color tomorrow, which is obviously the plan, to let things dry. I think I want cerulean blue. I've got some periwinkle. It's sort of calling to me. I've also got Fandango. Now this is the brush with the residual of the frozen in it. Gosh, I really love cerulean blue. So much. I guess we'll find out together how my theory of wiping off my brush goes. I'm almost ready for some green. Don't mind those colors next to each other, but I'm pretty sure if I let them interact, they're not going to be pretty. That would be the tangerine and the cerulean blue. Not thrilling me yet. I'm really thinking this is going to become a fast forwarding exercise. I'm going to try some of the water lily. And just cover all that up. And I'm going to leave my brush dirty. Well, maybe I won't. Maybe I'll flip it over if I want to. We'll see. Kind of don't mind those feathering, those bleeding crayon marks. Alright, now I want to try some of the dancing fuchsia. I'm glad it's open. It wasn't completely evident. I'm going to go for some... Oh, and I've still got plenty of paint on my brush. I'm going to go for some pink carnation next. And maybe if this paint is wet, I'll go through and knock a few things around, like in add some colors. This is the pink carnation. Which I might or might not add some orange to. I'll free up my style a little. I didn't clean my brushes, but that's okay. I definitely think there needs to be something different. Gotta remember when I pick up color, it's going to change the color I add it back to. I definitely like it with the dancing fuchsia. I want to try something. I want to try a little bit of the metallic white. And I've got dancing fuchsia on my spatula. I created some interesting texture. I never did use the periwinkle, and I want to. I need some lighter colors in here, I think, for contrast. I've got some Whispering Wisteria, which I happen to like a lot too. Reminds me very much of the red violet. I think a little more dancing fuchsia down here. think I like the idea of overlapping more than I anticipated. Not that it wasn't always a plan, because it was sort of in the back of my head. One wonders where where it's going to go from here. I still want some saffron. I think this is a good place to put it. Alright, I've got a sort of a schmutzy brush, so I need to either change it out or clean it up. I just put blue in there, which was probably a mistake, but if I clean it up it'll be alright. Okay. Not sure okay is the right response to this yet. But I know I can do something sometime. I'm going to start with some water lily. Let's start with some water lily a whole bunch of places, because I like it. And if I decide it's too much, I'll change it. I always pick up paint. And I kind of like how that looks. I think the Egyptian blue is calling me. But I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. I still have some African violet left. Which I still can't shake to mix in the fluid to begin with. I'm thinking there's going to be some orange in the future over the yellows, but in the meantime I've got this tool. It's a nail art tool, and a strong desire to use it. Well, I still have the opportunity. I think there's going to be pink over that orange. Maybe it's going to be jasmine. Right now, because it's dry enough. If it wasn't dry, I couldn't do it. I want to add some shapes. I want to be careful about using my residuals because they're kind of schmutzy, as are some of my brushes, because I want to move faster than I'm moving. I want to put some white down. I want to put some black in too. I think it's important to just do what I was originally thinking about doing and use some of the orange. I'd like to use the tangerine, but it's not my favorite color right now. Maybe I'll use both. The Orange Crush and the tangerine. Seems like a lot of paint. I've also got my toothy tools. I don't mind the yellow showing through in the background. I think I want a little bit of dancing fuchsia right down the center here. And I've got paint still left on my brush. I'm liking the residuals that are on my brush. I think I'm going to grab. I'm not hating this anymore. I'm actually beginning to like it, and it's beginning to be a little bit of fun. I'm wondering about maybe putting some white in and dragging a tool through, but I keep finding brushes someplace and having to decide what to do with my residuals. And I like doing it, but I'm going to have to clean my brushes off, or I won't be able to use them any longer in a second. So that's unexpectedly cool, except for that one thing there. So my husband left the refrigerator open and I could hear it beeping. And I had to go and come back. But it gave me a minute to think about things. I mean, literally a minute. And I'm going to keep using my schmutzy brushes. And I want some more saffron. And I'm still contemplating using some white. As well as other tools. And I like using the residuals. I think I use that word way too much. I did just drag my fingernail through the paint, which was not my intention. I think some black, some white. Still want the white. I think the white is going to be white metallic. Where's my little nail art tool? Alright, I really thought I was going to drag through that, but I'm not so sure anymore. But it does make me want black. And I never used any green. Do I want some? Am I going to wait until tomorrow and see what happens? I'm really feeling like adding a little bit of green. Best to shake it if you know that it has fluid that wants to come out the top. I should have a dipping dish for this. Let's just use my... I guess you can call it a palette. I still want some black. Maybe a smaller brush to change the mark shape. Well, here's my black. Where is it going to go? That's the question. I think I'm almost done, at least for today. What have I got? I've got a tiny spatula head. Which will also make marks in paint that's still wet. Feels a lot like risky business to me. But it's intense. You really don't know what's wet enough to make a mark. But I am having a lot of fun. I need a smaller tip black bottle. I am taking chances. Hopefully it'll teach me to become more brave. Okay, somewhere here there's a nail art tool. There we go. I haven't got any gold in here. Maybe I don't need it. I think it's fun. And I thought it was going to take me another day, and I could still come back and add some stronger colors to a few places, but I really think it's done. And I was pretty scared for a while there. And I think I could probably mess around with this just for the next hour, just messing around, having a good time. I wonder if I want any more dancing fuchsia. I kind of do. Maybe just a dot here or there, or a line. Okay, I quit. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the compliments that keep my morale boosted. Thank you for the donations that help keep me painting. Please give me a thumbs up. Thank you for sharing my videos. I really appreciate you guys being here. If you watch longer or watch some of the commercials or make a comment, those things are all super helpful to me. My creative playlists are on my YouTube channel. And if you go to my YouTube channel banner, you'll find the PayPal icon. Pinterest, Instagram, Twitter links on my link tree. My community board will show you tomorrow's videos. If you have questions or you want the paint pouring recipe, ask me questions, it will. The paint pouring recipe is below Show More. When you click Show More, you're going to find my email address. Thank you for everything. Shop my Amazon link, please. You can buy anything you want from there. And my 2 books are there, Because I Can and Unlimited Possibilities, Volumes 1 and 2. Thank you again for being here. I love you guys dearly. You inspire the heck out of me. Bye for now. Priscilla out.